Drew McIntyre didn't just beat Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 36. He also successfully defended the belt in the weekend's true main event against The Big Show. Since then, Drew's beaten King Corbin, Seth Rollins, Murphy, Angel Garza, and United States Champion Andrade twice. And now WWE have even seemingly started taking Bobby Lashley seriously again, purely so he can credibly face McIntyre. WWE are very clearly fully behind the Drew McIntyre project, and we can exclusively confirm just how much, because we do exclusives now, don't you know? WrestleTalk.com's Louis Dangoor is reporting that WWE higher-ups have been incredibly impressed with McIntyre's work in recent months, not only inside the ring, but also in promos and media appearances too. So impressed, in fact, that WWE management, including Vince McMahon and Raw Executive Director Paul Heyman, see McIntyre as someone they can build the entire roster around. And they're committed to pushing him as a main eventer for years to come. His WWE Championship reign will almost certainly not be a one-off, like we've seen with the pulled pushes of Finn Balor, Jinder Mahal, and Kofi Kingston in recent years. And because it's WWE, you better believe they've got a clunky bit of branding tied to it. ESPN's Arda Okel revealed in an interview with McIntyre himself that WWE had told him to introduce Drew as the star of Monday Night Raw. Oddly not WWE Champion, which you would have thought is more important. Perhaps it's a promotional tactic to get people to watch Raw on Monday nights, which has seen its ratings enter freefall since total lockdown. Wrestling viewership during quarantine is unfortunately down across the industry, with AEW Dynamite also recording some of its lowest figures ever. Which might be why WWE don't care as much about their biggest competitor right now. Because speaking of ratings and wrestlers who are called Drew, double-powered segue! Despite having one of the best TV matches of the year against Daniel Bryan on last Friday's episode of SmackDown, WWE let Drew Gulak's contract expire the very next day because they refused to raise his pay. God damn it, WWE. And because Gulak's contract expired rather than him being released, he has no 90-day non-compete clause, meaning he could turn up as soon as this Saturday's Double or Nothing pay-per-view for AEW. If only they hadn't already announced multi-time former WWE champion vacant for the last slot in the casino ladder match. Gulak would have been perfect for that. But weirdly, according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, WWE would be totally cool with that, as McMahon is no longer worried about released wrestlers signing with AEW or other competitors in the current environment. Every former WWE star to AEW. Speaking of wrestlers WWE shouldn't be letting go, Drake Maverick. Maverick might have been let go from the company in WWE's mass firings on the 14th of March, but he's still competing in the interim NXT Cruiserweight Championship tournament, where the promotion has been using his release as part of the storyline, a blurring of work and shoot, which many fans have found distasteful. Made even more uncomfortable when WWE uploaded a video a few days ago of Drake Maverick receiving his release papers. Either this is all a work and he gets his job back, being a slap in the face of all the wrestlers who were actually fired, or he's just working out his 90-day non-compete and he still loses his job at the end of it, which sucks even more. According to Cage Side Seats, the latter is still the more likely outcome, as the current plans are still for Drake Maverick to leave WWE once the Cruiserweight tournament is over. I know! I should tweet him some support! After covering the story in yesterday's video, I tweeted, "Whatever happens, I just want more Drake Maverick in my life," which is just a nice thing to do. I don't expect him to get back to me. I just want him to know that we're all being. Oh my God, he tweeted back. That was all a lie. I only tagged him so he would reply with Drake Maverick himself tweeting a gif of me saying, Drake Maverick. Dear God, it's Drake Maverickception. Drake Maverick. What have I done? Quick, let's move on to last night's episode of AEW Dynamite. In about 5 minutes, I think I just made a tear in the Space Maverick continuum. Brody Lee opened the show saying he needs to win the world title this Saturday, and to soften up Moxley right now, he's picked his newest recruit, 10, to face him for his incredible strength. Totally not because Evil Uno and Stu Grayson are stuck in Canada, eh? 10 got a few moves in, but this was all Mox, who brutally won with 2 paradigm shifts and a pile driver. Mox then threatened to bash 10's arm in between 2 chairs if Lee didn't come out, but Brody said nah and went home. Still a better boss than actual Vince McMahon. To warm up for his match against Jungle Boy at Double or Nothing, MJF did all the heel while beating Marco's stunt, even making him pick his own nose and eat it. Because Double or Nothing this Saturday has a gambling theme, let's gamble with the safety of people's health. 64-year-old Jake the Snake with multiple health problems came out for a face-to-face promo with 61-year-old Arn Anderson to build Lance Archer versus Cody for Saturday's show. Not only was this a completely unnecessary risk, it would have also worked much better as a pre-filmed backstage segment. Darby Allin played poker with people dressed up as his casino ladder match opponents in a black and white short film, while Pac cut an awesome promo cutting between him dressed normally and him in his ring gear with a mask on, sometimes with them even next to each other. Pacception. Getting over his dangerous, erratic mind and what Phoenix will do to Orange Cassidy in the match. I love how most AEW wrestlers have their own unique filming style for vignettes. This led directly into Orange Cassidy versus Rey Fenix, with Cassidy coolly sidestepping the same flying knee that decapitated him last week to start the match. AEW have booked Cassidy with great care and restraint since Dynamite started last October. He has a very high concept gimmick that is very easy to get wrong or feel over pushed, but they've not only struck that balance perfectly, they've done it with their hands in their pockets. And as a result, he's become a proven TV ratings draw and somehow an actual credible mid-card threat, which meant I actually really bought into his match with Phoenix genuinely looking in trouble. After some really fun action, Kip Sabian set up a ladder on the ramp lifeguard style to watch on, distracting Orange for Phoenix to win, which brought out everyone booked for the casino ladder match for a go-home brawl, complete with Phoenix doing an insane twirling dive off the top rope, seemingly falling short and landing pretty much straight on the ground. If that's what he does now, what's he going to do in an actual ladder match? Thankfully, Phoenix seemed fine as he was able to walk to the back. Unfortunately, Britt Baker didn't escape the following match just as unscathed. Thanks for your support on Patreon, Mr. Rockwell. All the lady heels, Nyla Rose and Baker, took on the lady faces, Chris Statlander and Shida next, ahead of their respective pay-per-view matches on Saturday. I'm seeing double here. 4 women's feuds in AEW at the same time. They had yet another really fun match, with AEW's women's division finally being what we all wanted it to be. Unfortunately, one of the major reasons for that might have just been taken out, with easily the best woman character in the promotion, Britt, seemingly being injured, when Statlander and Shida threw Nyla onto her in the corner. Instead of pro wrestling selling, she had the half-frustrated, half-worried look of someone who didn't like what they just felt, and she rolled over to the corner to be seen to by a medic and disappeared for the rest of the match. Rose won the actual bout by pinning her challenger, nicely positioning Shida as the underdog for Saturday, and she got to stand tall as well by superplexing Rose through a table. Presumably meant to be brawling with Baker, Statlander panicked and weirdly just hugged Shida up afterwards. Sean Spears had a spoof fake news reading segment saying Dustin Rhodes has retired and then called him out for this Saturday. A really fun way to set up a random match. And then the main event saw even more broken Matt Hardy take on Sami Guevara after Matt had both ran Sami down with a golf buggy and twist of fated him onto a chair. Sometimes I think Sami's the babyface, which was played up during this match, where Guevara treated his opponent seriously instead of acting penisy. And without that arrogant conduct, and with Hardy trying to legit eat the man's foot, you see what Sami might end up being one day, a mega high-flying babyface. Matt won in the end, but was interrupted by the rest of the Inner Circle, complete with Floyd attacking Kenny Omega on the football field. A mass brawl ensued, not just with the Young Bucks making their return from out of quarantine, but also, who's that running down the length of the field there? Is it a horse? Is it a golf buggy? No, it's Hangman Page. The Inner Circle backed off, closing the show on a fantastic bit of visual storytelling, a craning shot to reveal Elite branding on the ground and screens with Omega, the Bucks, and Matt Hardy celebrating, but Page walking off, mirroring the Inner Circle's celebration a few weeks prior. But while the babyfaces might be standing tall heading into the pay-per-view, they're not standing together. What did you think of the Go Home Dynamite? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, where I'll be replying to people from out of quarantine like Hangman Page running down a football field. I thought this was a really effective Go Home episode, building everything on the Double or Nothing card in a cliffhanger way that doesn't just make you want to see the in-ring component of the pay-per-view, but also what will happen next in the stories. This week's Dynamite is 4 out of 5. Quizzlemania 8 was last night with Inside the Ropes' Kenny McIntosh. Click the video on the right to watch the latest episode of the smash hit wrestling trivia show. And what are the 20 funniest moments of WWE's modern era? Find out in Adam Blompier's latest list video by clicking the video below that, and make WrestleTalk.com your homepage to stay up to date with all the latest breaking wrestling news. I've been Ollie Davis, and that was wrestling.